That's Yogi's claim to fame. Yogi, they call him Yogi Bear. Yogi, he ought to be a pair. He's no stranger to danger, but a headache to the ranger, and always in the ranger's hair.
Yogi, he's the pride of the park. Yogi, his life is just a lark.
When you dial your TV, it's Yogi Bear you want to see. Yogi of Jellystone Park. Yogi, he's so clever and so quick. Yogi, he won't ever miss a trick. When the food is on the ground, Yogi Bear is always round. At picnic, Yogi takes his pick. There's Yogi, that's Yogi, that's Yogi, that lovable Yogi, that lovable Yogi, Yogi Bear.
Okay, Boo-Boo, it's getting late.
Late? What time is it, Yogi?
It's about 2 days past October, and time all us good bears went into hibernation for the winter.
But, Yogi, I want to stay up late and watch the Flintstones on the Late Late Show.
That's what you said in September, Boo-Boo. But how many times I gotta tell you that if you want to grow up to be a big, healthy bear like old Yogi, you gotta get your sleep. Oh, what does it take to get you to sleep, Boo-Boo?
Just tell me a bedtime story. That always works.
What can I lose? How's about the story of Jack and the Giant Killer?
You mean Jack and the Beanstalk?
The one and the same. This boy, name of Jack, he lived on a little farm in jolly old England with his mother. But Jack was not so jolly, you see. They were very poor.
Why didn't Jack get a job to help his mother, Yogi?
Well, Jack didn't know how to do anything. He didn't get an education. You see, Boob, Jack was a dropout. There wasn't a bite of food in the house, not even a TV dinner.
Why didn't they sell something, Yogi?
They did, Boob. Jack sold his hi-fi, his collection of Beatle records, his skateboard, everything. All they had left was a cow.
Why didn't they milk the cow, Yogi?
They did for a while, but they didn't have any feed for the cow. So the cow figured if they're not going to feed me, then I'm not going to feed them. And she didn't. Finally, Jack's mother got so desperate, she called to her son.
Jack,
She called.
fetch Brownie.
You see, it was a brown cow. Then Jack's mother explained that they had to get a few dollars. Some way. Oh, no, brown cow, quipped Jack.
Right,
Said his mother.
it's all we got left. Take the cow to town and sell him, her, for as much as you can get.
Well, Jack wasn't too bright, but he did as his mother told him. He took the cow to town. But on the way, he met a smooth-talking sort of fellow who says,
Good morning, lad. Where are you going with that lovely bovine creature?
What bovine creature, asked Jack. All I got is a cow. Well, the stranger, seeing Jack wasn't too sharp, decided to cheat him out of his cow.
How much do you want for that cow, lad?
Asked the city slicker. Oh, I'll take $100, sir. $10 down and $10 a month at 6% interest,
I'll give you something worth more than money.
said the stranger. Like what, said Jack.
Like this handful of beans.
Offered the stranger. Oh, no, you don't, quipped Jack. You're not gonna unswoggle me into selling you our only cow for a few beans. What do you think I am, stupid?
These are not just ordinary beans. These are magic beans.
In that case, I'll take 'em, said Jack. I just wanted you to know that nobody but nobody puts anything over on me. I'm just too sharp for you.
Okay.
said the stranger.
You drive a hard bargain, but it's a deal. Here's your handful of beans, and I'll take the cow. Come on, Brownie.
Well, Boo-Boo, when Jack got home that night, his mother met him at the door.
Well, Jackson, where's the money?
Well, alibis the boy, I didn't exactly get any money, but I got something better than money.
Better than money?
Yes, the mother?
Oh, boy, I've got to sit down and talk to this boy one of these days.
But, Mummy, said Jack, look, the nice man gave me a handful of beans.
Beans?
Scream, Mom.
That does it. Tomorrow you're going back to school.
But, Mom, explained Jack, these aren't just plain ordinary beans. They're magic beans.
I'll bet, quipped
Mom?
So what are you going to do with a handful of beans? They won't even grow on this farm.
With that, the poor angry mother grabbed a handful of beans and threw them out the window. Poor Jack. That night, he went to bed hungry as usual. But next morning, when Jack woke up, he looked out the window, and what do you think he saw?
The cow?
No, Boo-Boo. Jack saw a
A
giant.
giant?
Let me finish, Boo-Boo. He saw a giant beanstalk.
You mean the beans really were magic, Yogi?
Right, Boob. The giant beanstalk was so tall, Jack couldn't even see to the top of it. So Jack, being nosy, started to climb the big beanstalk to see how tall it was. Up, and up he went, but still he didn't reach the top. Well, after about an hour of climbing, Jack reached the top. And what do you think he saw up there?
The cow?
No, Boo-Boo. Jack saw a fantastic island in the sky, a strange, mysterious land, and he started walking along the road till he saw a huge castle. Then Jack started toward the castle, but right in front of the castle, Jack met a beautiful fairy princess.
Where are you going, lad?
Said the fairy princess. I'm going up to that big castle to see who lives there, answered Jack.
I wouldn't if I were you.
Said the fairy princess.
You see, that's the castle of the one-eyed giant.
One-eyed giant, gasped Jack.
So what about the one-eyed giant, Yogi?
Well, the fairy princess told Jack that after the brave knight and his family were gone, a huge one-eyed giant moved into the castle.
And that isn't all. The giant took over the brave knight's most valuable possessions. His gold, his singing harp, and his magic hen. Be careful.
Said the fairy.
That one-eyed giant is dangerous.
But Jack didn't hear the warning. He had decided to go find the magic hen and magic harp and return them to their rightful owner. Walking up to the big castle gate, Jack rang the bell. But when nobody answered, Jack sneaked under the bottom of the huge castle door.
Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman.
Uh-oh, thought Jack. It's him. It's the one-eyed giant. I'd better cut out. But suddenly, Jack hid in a closet. And who do you think came walking into the room?
The cow?
No, Boo-Boo. The one-eyed type giant. Peeking out, Jack saw a very strange sight. He watched as the one-eyed giant brought a little white hen to the table.
Little hen so brave and bold, lay the one-eyed giant some gold.
And then, right in front of Jack's eyes, the little hen laid a golden egg, then another, and another. Jack couldn't believe his eyes, but the little hen was laying golden eggs, and they're the best kind. So whilst Jack peeked out, he saw the giant quit counting his gold and pick up the magic musical harp. Spoke the giant.
Oh, musical harp, oh, harp so pretty, play me a top 40 ditty.
And suddenly, a magical harp started to play all by itself. And after a little while, the giant closed his one big eye and went to sleep. That was Jack's chance to escape. Fearful of waking the sleeping giant, Jack tippy-toed over and picked up the magic harp. Then when he grabbed the magic hen, it started squawking like it had its tail caught in an electric fan. If there's one thing I can't stand, it's a stool pigeon chicken. The noise woke up you-know-who.
Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he thin or be he fat, I'm gonna find out where he's at.
But at that moment, the one-eyed giant spotted poor little Jack with a harp under one arm and the blabbermouth chicken under the other. Jack was so scared, he froze in his tracks, and the giant started after him. Just as the giant reached out to grab Jack, Jack's feet started to spin, and he took off like a rocket. Down the castle halls Jack ran, with the giant so close, Jack could feel the giant's breath in the back of his neck. Jack, out of breath and scared, dashed out into the courtyard ahead of the giant. But the giant turned his huge dogs loose to join the chase.
Did the dogs catch Jack, Yogi?
I don't know, Boo-Boo. I haven't finished the story yet. Let's find out. Well, with the dogs yapping at Jack's heels, he just barely got to the top of the beanstalk ahead of the giant. Down Jack scrambled. Down, down, down climbed Jack, and it wasn't easy, with that magic harp under one arm and magic hen under the other, not to mention the big double-jointed giant right behind him. But finally, Jack reached the bottom of the beanstalk and home. He dashed into the house where his mother had been waiting for him.
Jack,
She said,
where on earth have you been?
"Well, I haven't exactly been on the earth," answered Jack.
And what's with that chicken under one arm and that 10-string guitar under the other?
Asked his mom, somewhat puzzled. "Well," says Jack, "it's kind of hard to explain. You see, there was this big old castle."
Like which old castle?
Asked Mom. "Like the castle where the one-eyed giant lived," explained Jack.
Like what one-eyed giant?
Asked Jack's mother, still a little puzzled. "Like the one-eyed giant that I hear coming down the beanstalk," said Jack.
Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Be he thin or be he fat, I'll smack him with this baseball bat.
"Quick, Mom, where's the axe?"
Right where you left it,
said Mom sarcastically.
in the icebox.
Anywho, just before the one-eyed giant got almost to the ground, Jack started chopping down the beanstalk. Then Jack yelled, "Timber!" And the big old hairy giant fell flat on his hip pocket. Splat!
And what happened to the magic hen and the magic harp, Yogi?
Well, it's too bad about the magic hen, Boo-Boo. You see, when Jack got back from chopping down that big old beanstalk, he was tired and hungry. And when he walked into the house, his mom said,
I knew you'd be hungry after all that work, Jack, so I fixed you a quick supper.
"Crazy," said Jack. "What's to eat?"
We got your favorite dish, chicken and dumplings.
"Wild," said Jack. "But where did you get a chicken, Ma?"
What do you mean, where did I get a chicken? You just brought a big old chicken home with you, don't you remember?
"Oh, no," exclaimed Jack. "Not my magic hen."
Don't worry, said his mother. There's nothing wrong with your magic hen. In fact, it's delicious.
"But Ma," explained Jack, "that hen could lay golden eggs." That chicken dinner cost Jack about $1 million. But somehow, he didn't enjoy it.
You mean Jack and his mother were still poor, and the story has an unhappy ending?
On the contrary, Boo, this story has a happy ending. You see, Jack still had the magic harp. So he got himself an agent, and soon he had his own television show.
TV show?
Sure. It was called Jack and His Swinging Magic Harp. Yay!
Now Jack the Giant Killer lived long, long ago with his poor old mother in the town of Old Bordeaux. Jack was very poor, not a nickel in his jeans, so he went to town and sold his cow for a pocket full of beans. 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 Poor Jackie's mother didn't know what to say, but she became quite angry and she threw the beans away. Now when Jack awoke the very next day, he had a big surprise. There he saw a giant beanstalk growing up into the skies. Up the giant beanstalk Jack climbed to a strange, fantastic land. And when he met a giant there, Jack turned for home and ran. Jack slid down the big beanstalk with the giant gaining fast. But Jack reached Earth in time. He was safe back home at last. With the giant still up in the air, and before he reached the ground, Jack grabbed an axe and chop, chop, chop till the giant tumbled down. So the moral is, if you are broke, not a nickel in your jeans, remember now, just trade your cow for a pocket full of beans. Beans.
Well, Boo-Boo, my itty-bitty buddy, I told you a Betty Bye type story. So now how's about a little hibernation nap?
That Jack and the Beanstalk story did make me a little bit sleepy. Maybe if you told me another bedtime story, I could do some serious hibernating.
Okay, Boo-Boo, just relax. And your favorite storyteller, name of Yogi Bear, will tell you the story of Little Red Type Riding Hood. Once upon a time, too kind of cliche, in a little old cottage at the edge of a hairy, scary woods, there lived a little girl and her mother. On her birthday, the little girl received a beautiful Red Riding Hood from her grandmother. She liked the hood so much, she wore it all the time, even over her pajamas. So the people in the neighborhood started calling her Little Red Riding Hood. Anywho, whilst Little Red Riding Hood was doing her homework,
To the monster jet. To the monster jet. To the monster jet.
the phone rang. The call was from her poor old grandmother. Collect,
Hi, Granny baby.
says Little Red Riding Hood.
What's up?
Well,
Says Grandma.
to tell you the truth, I'm not feeling too sharp. You know, I got aches and pains, headaches, a sinus condition, and like that. But otherwise, I feel super.
Well, where do you hurt most?
Well, I hurt all over more than anywhere else.
What you need
Says Red Riding Hood.
is a good hot meal. I'll whip up a few goodies and buzz over to your house.
Crazy!
Says Granny. And with that, she hung up. After all, she was out of the toll-free area. So Little Red Riding Hood got out her big cookbook and started mixing up a lot of yummies. Well, when the lunch was all prepared, Red Riding Hood slipped on her sneakers and hopped on her scooter, and away she went for Grandma's house. Being in a big hurry, Little Red Riding Hood drove off the freeway and took a shortcut through the woods. But today just wasn't Little Red Riding Hood's lucky day. She hadn't gone 10 miles when she heard the sad wail of a motorcycle patrolman bearing down on her.
That's odd. I'm only doing 99 miles an hour.
All right, Gus Grissom. You trying to get back in orbit?
Roars the cycle jockey.
But, officer, my name's not Gus Grissom. I'm Little Red Riding Hood. Couldn't you tell by the Red Riding Hood?
How do I know that's not just a disguise? And you're a notorious international spy. Let me take a look at your driver's license.
Why not? My papers are all in order.
I thought so. You're not really Little Red Riding Hood. That's just a nom de plume.
What makes you talk that away? My name's on my driver's license. Can't you read?
Never mind, can I read? What you got in that basket? Contraband? Stolen crown jewels? Plans for an interplanetary bus?
Oh, cool it.
Says Red.
It's just a bunch of lunch I'm taking to my grandmother.
Open it up. I don't take any chances.
Okay.
Says Red.
Looky. Vanilla matzo balls, borscht, sweet and sour, French fried buttermilk.
Said the lawman.
I'd better take all these goodies along with me.
What for?
As evidence.
Evidence of what?
I'll think of something.
Says the motor cop, grabbing at the basket. But Little Red could see that the motor cop wasn't a real motor cop, but some kind of a phony. So she grabbed the basket of goodies and blasted off to the woods, leaving the phony fuzz behind.
Wow, my disguise almost worked, but I'll get that Little Red Riding Hood yet. My name ain't the Big Bad Wolf.
Is that the end of the story, Yogi?
No, Boo-Boo. I'm just building up to the denouement.
The what, Yogi?
You know, the climax. You see, the wolf figured he would get to Grandma's house ahead of Red Riding Hood and grab her when she arrived. Soon the big bad wolf skidded up to the front of Grandma's cottage. He knocked on the door. Okay, so he dingled the chimes.
Who's there?
Answered Grandma.
It's only me, Little Red.
I mean, it's only me. Little old me, you know, Little Red Riding Hood. I brought you a whole basket full of goodies. Open the door, Granny. Okay.
Said Granny. But instead of coming to the door, Granny went out the back door, climbed off on the roof with a bucket of hot water, and dumped it on the wolf.
Yow! That's smart.
And seeing he'd been outfoxed, he went yelping into the woods. Well, by now, the wolf was getting a little fed up with being outsmarted. And just when he was about to give up, he got one of his sneakiest ideas. He dashed downtown to a costume shop where they rent costumes for Halloween and parties and like that.
I'd like to rent a Little Red Riding Hood outfit. You see, I'm going to a costume party as Little Red Riding Hood.
Well, only minutes later, there was another rap at the door. The chimes rang.
Who's there?
Asked Grandma.
It's only little old me,
Fibbed the wolf.
Little Red Riding Hood. How can I be sure?
Asked Granny suspiciously.
Just look out the window and see.
Said the sneaky old wolf, putting on his dark glasses. And when Grandma saw the bright Red Riding Hood, she opened the door and let the wolf in.
I'm not one to criticize, Little Red,
Says Grandma.
but I think you ought to get a shave. Shave? Uh-oh, it's not Little Red Riding Hood at all. It's the Big Bad Wolf. What a sneak.
It takes one to know one.
Chuckles the wolf. And with that smart aleck remark, the big bad wolf grabbed Granny and locked her in the closet. Then, wearing a shawl and one of Granny's lace nightcaps, The wolf jumped in the bed, dialed in the electric blanket, pulled the covers up to his nose, and waited for Little Red Riding Hood to come along. While he was waiting, the wolf decided to turn on the radio.
To the monster jerk. To the monster jerk. Jerk.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program to bring you a special police bulletin. Be on the lookout for a big, shaggy, ugly wolf, known to be lurking in the woods near Grandma's house. He's about 3 feet tall, weight about 90 pounds. When last seen, he was wearing a dirty, mangy, old overcoat, and his teeth looked like he'd forgotten to brush after every meal. Suspect is Caucasian and goes by the name of Big Bad Wolf. That is all. And now, back to that new musical group called the Cotton Pickin' Guitar Pickers.
Well, the wolf had to act fast. The police were closing in on him. But could they find him before he found Little Red Riding Hood? And about that time, the wolf heard a familiar sound. Who should walk up and knock on the front door but Little Red Riding Hood?
What's wrong with the chimes, Yogi?
All right.
That's better.
Well, to get back to the plot, Little Red Riding Hood called out.
Anybody home?
Who is it?
Called out the wolf in his granny voice.
It's me, you know, Little Red Riding Hood.
Well, don't just stand there, child. Come on in.
So, not knowing what had happened to her grandmother, poor Little Red Riding Hood put the basket down and walked over to the bed to see how her poor granny was getting along.
How are you feeling, Granny?
Oh, fair to middling. I've sort of got the miseries. What I need is a little nourishing food.
I've got all kinds of goodies for you, Granny. How about a nice hot bowl of pasta fazool?
Well, crazy. Won't you join me for a little tate-a-tatey?
But just as Red Riding Hood started to fix a nice bowl of pasta fazool, she heard a noise.
What was that?
Oh, that's termites. The place is just crawling with termites.
And why do you have the shades down, Granny?
Oh, well, the sun hurts my eyes, so I pull down the shades.
Alibi the wolf?
And that's why you're wearing dark glasses, Granny?
What else? Come closer, Little Red Riding Hood, so's I can see you.
But when Red Riding Hood got closer to what she thought was her grandma, she noticed how strange her granny looked.
My, Granny, you must be sicker than you thought. You look so funny.
You mean funny ha-ha or funny she?
I mean funny, yeah.
Elucidate, my child, elucidate.
Well, for instance,
Said Red.
what big eyes you got.
The better to, see you with.
Answered the wolf, who was always quick with an ad lib.
And like, what big ears you got, Grandma.
The better to, hear with.
Explained the wolf.
And how do you explain the pointed ears, Grandma?
Well,
Stalled the wolf.
that's a long story which we won't go into until you're older.
And for goodness sakes, Granny, what's with those hairy hands?
Well, I guess I'm using too much detergent in my dishwashing.
And that's not all, Granny.
Said Red.
You got a big mouth.
Natch, the better to eat you with.
And with that remark, he started chasing Little Red Riding Hood around the room. Around and around and around they went. Until the wolf was just about to grab Little Red Riding Hood. But just as he reached out to grab her,
Who left that skateboard in the bedroom?
screamed the angry old wolf.
Okay, I'm getting tired of being a nice guy. I'm gonna get tough.
But little did the old wolf know that Little Red Riding Hood had been taking a correspondence course in judo. In fact, she had a black belt. Well, it wasn't exactly black, but it was dirty. And when the big bad wolf lunged at Little Red, she gave him a big judo chop. And the wolf fell to the floor in a pile. Soon as the wolf hit the floor, Red Riding Hood heard that same noise coming from the closet.
Boy, has Granny got termites. Granny! Wonder where the old girl is. Probably out getting her surfboard waxed. Hello, what's that?
Exclaimed Little Red Riding Hood as she walked over to the closet, unlocked the door, and found her poor old Granny all tied up like a Christmas gift.
And that's the end of the story of Little Red Riding Hood, Yogi?
Well, that's where the story usually ends. But I heard that there's more to it, Boo-Boo.
So tell me what happened next, Yogi.
Little Red got on the horn and buzzed the fuzz. And...
All right. What's the trouble?
It's this dirty old wolf. I want him booked.
What's the charge?
The charge
said Red,
is telling fibs, masquerading as Granny without a license, and overacting. I'll be down later to sign a complaint.
All right, Big Bad Wolf. You'd better come along with me.
But officer,
cried the wolf.
I'm innocent. It's a frame, a bum rap. I demand to see my lawyer. You're arresting an innocent man.
But the Big Bad Wolf was taken to jail and booked just the same.
And that's the end of the story, Yogi?
Almost. The Big Bad Wolf got himself a smart lawyer and almost beat the rap.
How could he do that, Yogi?
Well, you know what a prevaricator he was. As a matter of fact, you just can't believe anything a wolf tells you. Anyhow, at the trial, the Big Bad Wolf took the stand in his own defense and told his side of the story.
Your Honor,
said the wolf, fibbing through his teeth,
it all started when I was walking through the woods, on my way to take some warm soup to a sick friend. I'm always doing good deeds like that. It's just the way I am. When the plaintiff, Miss Red Riding Hood, came along, and I noticed she was crying. Well, I never could stand to see a woman cry, so I politely asked her if I could be of any help. Well, she tells me a phony story about having a sick granny and all that jazz. Well, I felt so sorry for the poor dear that I went home and made a nice pot of soup and took it to her ailing granny. Well, you can imagine my surprise when I walked into Granny's house and the two of them jumped me. I screamed for help, but nobody heard me. It seems that the plaintiff, Miss Red Riding Hood, and her so-called granny were running a phony fur coat racket. They were going to tan my hide, dye it gray, and sell it as a mink stole. Can you imagine that?
He's not telling the truth, Your Honor.
exclaimed Red Riding Hood.
Oh, yes, I am.
Argued the wolf.
If I'm not telling the truth, may I get struck by lightning.
And he was struck by lightning. And that taught the Big Bad Wolf a lesson he'll never forget, Boo-Boo. Telling a big fib will only get you in a mess of trouble.
A Little Red Riding Hood was a chick with a little old granny who was awful sick. So she went to visit her granny one day and met a big bad wolf on the way. Don't sweat it, Red, don't be alarmed, said the big bad wolf with his phony charm. Just want to warn you about the big bad fox and ask you what you got in the big lunchbox. Just a few goodies, one kind or another, I'm fetching to my poor sick grandmother. I'm sorry, old wolf, but I can't stay. And with that, Little Red went on her way. Now the wolf let her go, but not for good, 'cause he had plans for Red Riding Hood. And when she arrived at Granny's pad, Red didn't know it, but she'd been had. Come on in, she heard Granny call, but it wasn't really Granny at all. Sitting up in bed, to her surprise, was Little Red's Granny with great big eyes. What big eyeballs you got, says Red, and pointed ears on top of your head. But the wolf just smiled and winked and grabbed Red Riding Hood, the fink. But little did that old wolf know that little Red had learned judo. She quickly raised her hand and pop, she gave that wolf a judo chop. And that is how the story ends. Now the wolf and Little Red definitely are friends, but he learned a lesson and learned it good. Don't fool around with Red Riding Hood.